Perfect. All right. Welcome to the Legends on Deck podcast. We are back. Actually, my first time on the Legends on Deck podcast. David and the website had one years ago. COVID probably screwed all that up too. So I'm Brian Koss. I'm a senior editor at Legends on Deck, and I am with David Conde, who is the founder of Legends on Deck, the man himself. We are coming to you from the Sunshine State, both of us in a different part of the state, but we're both here. And we're excited to talk baseball now that baseball season's kind of over, but or getting that way. But we're excited to kind of recap it and just talk baseball during the winter months too.
No, definitely. It's funny. Baseball season is over for everyone else but Florida.
Yeah, for Florida, your boys are still playing, right?
We have fall ball, and then we have a month off for the holidays, like a break, and we go right into the spring, and we can play baseball year round. Yeah, I love it. This is like a baseball lover's paradise.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So yeah, we're going to talk a lot. I think we'll talk a lot of youth baseball today, and we're going to get David's take on all that, and we're going to bring in a guest here shortly. Jon Rivera, one of your longtime coaching buddies.
Yeah, we started out when our boys were in T-ball. My son is 11. His son is 10. And when we bring them on, I kind of give them a jab. That's how we met. So when we bring them on, I'll give them that little jab on our story. But we were coached together for a long time, and it's very interesting how when you come together as parents, the whole idea is always thinking that, it's daddy's ball, and we never coached that way. Our kids had to sit, and our kids had to, do their time. Not everybody does that, but the way we did, the chemistry we had was just amazing. When someone you just meet, and then our whole passion was just to coach baseball and mentor these kids.
That's awesome. Yeah, that'll be a fun thing to talk about. There's a lot of baseball podcasts out there, sports podcasts in general, and it's almost their entire focus is usually on like the professional side of sports and all that. But I think one thing that we do at Legends on Deck is we kind of hit a broad spectrum of baseball topics.
Exactly.
And it's fun that way because you've got kids that are playing baseball. I've got kids that my son's just starting out playing baseball. He's 6 years old. So it's kind of fun to hit the youth side, and just what we've written about in the last year or two. It's just been all over the place with different baseball topics, and some of the writers that we brought on have been really cool. So hopefully we're going to get to them in some of the later episodes.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing, Legends on Deck, and one day we'll also get together with the other co-founder that kind of brought this on with me. And the whole idea, Legends on Deck was always that name, this perfect name of the next star. It wasn't all about, just the superstars that everyone likes to write about. We like to write about the unknown guys that no one knows about that can be the star. So imagine your son is 6 years old, who knows? He's another Legends on Deck. He's on deck ready to take off. So I think the idea of talking about the youth of the game and the high school level and the college level it's a huge. There's so much to talk about. And I think we're taking on this venture is an awesome thing. I think people are going to really enjoy it. And actually the guests that we bring on are going to be, regarding all that stuff we want to talk about. So I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. I will touch briefly though before we get Jon in here, let's touch briefly on kind of the MLB season and that wrapping up. And the World Series wrapped up about 3 weeks ago. And I don't know about you, but I found it pretty funny in general that the Braves ended up as the World Series champions this year. I was getting a little bit discouraged at the beginning of the Major League Baseball season. I watch ball all year. I watch the Tigers. I watch the Rays. I watch, but I know people that didn't watch baseball this year, largely because of the decision of Major League Baseball to get political at the beginning of the season. In moving the All-Star game out of Atlanta over a voting bill in the Florida legislature, which was just such a Yeah, and the Georgia Legends, it's such a bizarre thing and for them to do. It has nothing to do with baseball, obviously. But, you know, you see this with sports leagues now, and they got to get into the political realm. And I don't think fans want that. I don't think they want that. And it's clear that fans don't really want that. But you know, the city of Atlanta and their area missed out on all this money that they could have gotten from the All-Star game. They were actually planning a whole Hank Aaron tribute for the All-Star game, and it was going to be all around him, who he passed away earlier in the year. It's too bad. It's too bad that happened to Atlanta, but I think they kind of got him. They kind of got Commissioner Manfred back by just coming in hot at the end of the season and winning the World Series. The other thing I thought was interesting, they won the World Series without Ron Acuna Jr., who was their top star. You know, they come in August and they come in at the trade deadline. They redo their outfield, and they just get hot at the right time. So a lot of times it's hot at the right time, and that happened to the Braves, and it was pretty exciting actually to watch.
I remember when you and I were discussing sometime around the All-Star break, and you know, COVID kind of took my love of baseball away, not because of the love of it, but just because, you know, there's so much going on, and you know, you're home, you're working now. I work from home, and I have my boys and everything. You're trying to manage that household now. So, you know, for a while I was kind of like, baseball is there, but like life took over. You know, you just forgot about baseball. And even though baseball sometimes takes you away from life, and where you can enjoy it and not have to worry about life, this time life kind of took me over. And I remember we spoke about that around the time, and I'm just like, it just wouldn't dawn on me, like, what are they doing? You know, like, why would you do something like that? You're not punishing anybody but the fans. At the end of the day, these are the fans coming together to watch the superstars of the game. So it's funny when Atlanta started going on a little run. I know you kind of like alluded to it a little bit. Man, imagine they get to the World Series and win this whole thing, you know, and or even just to get to the World Series. And I can understand. I'm a Met fan, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't root for Atlanta for anything else, but I think, and not to jab either side, it's just as a baseball fan, I really wanted them to get to the World Series. And when they won it, I mean, I literally sat there and like, oh my God, like they just pretty much got, if in their mindset, they wanted to just get back at baseball and say, look what you did, and we're going to take this away. You won a World Series, negate it, whatever happened in the spring or something in July for the All-Star game, and just celebrate. That didn't even matter anymore. What mattered most, they got a World Series ring, you know, and all that money came back. You know, whatever they lost, they came back.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. It was fun to watch, and I think Manfred, when he got in to present the trophy, I swear I was watching it very intently to see what his reaction was going to be, and I think he handed it off and he just got out. He was like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be here. He probably felt pretty embarrassed, but it was good for them. It was a good end to the baseball season. The one thing that I want to comment on, and I hope that Major League Baseball addresses this going forward, and I don't know that they will, because there's probably money involved, but these late starts to these ball games are too much. You know, World Series games starting, they say they start at 8, they really start at like 8:15 or 8:30. And you know, my kids are in bed, and I let my son stay up. I actually let him stay up longer than I would, a while longer than I normally, but he couldn't even make it. It was like 9:15 and he's passed out, and it's like the 3rd inning. So they got to address it if they want younger kids to watch these games, which I think that's what they should want. You know, you got to start at least the weekend games, you know, at 6 or 7 o'clock, in you know, like a normal regular season games is 7 o'clock start. You know, and I understand they got to deal with the West Coast and all that, but you got to give these kids an opportunity, younger kids, that you're going to try to get hooked into the game to watch more of these games.
And I agree with that. You know, I was my sons, who are now, one's 15, one's 11. They really like love to sit there and watch the game with me. And then my oldest, like, Dad, I want to watch the game. I'm like, you gotta go to school tomorrow. And he's like, but I really want to watch. So I would have the same thing. But he's 15, but he gets up way early in the morning.
Right. He's getting up. High school starts early.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, that's fine. Just sit with me for a little bit. But then it's like, you can't really enjoy that with your kid. You know, you can't really sit down and enjoy the game and watch it. And I know that has to do with sponsorship as well, because they're losing, you know, prime time.
I'm sure, but yeah, I agree. It's like, you know, there's stuff involved in that, but I mean, they're competing already. I mean, you're in October. When you're into October and you're playing, or almost November, they have football games on Saturday. There's football games on Sunday. You're competing with a lot of stuff out there. So I just think they should make it more accommodating to fans.
Maybe start around 5 o'clock. That's a 3 o'clock game on the West Coast. It's perfect.
Right. I mean, they start, you know, the NFL plays a 1 o'clock and a 3 o'clock game every week. So
yeah, you only get a Monday night. I think Monday night football, right? Or Thursday night football is the only like night game, and everything else is in the day where people could be there.
Exactly. So I agree. I think fans should lean heavy on that one and demand some better start times. Yep. But why don't we bring Jon in?
All right. And just so everybody knows, because this is our first one that we're redoing, the previous one we did for Legends on Deck, we have the podcast, and you know, it's just, you know, the website was always created as people to come and go. It wasn't anything that people stayed for a long time in the beginning. It was more so, hey, you know, this is a platform for you, come and write if you want. A lot of guys went on to bigger and better things. So the podcast started, it was great, but then, you know, life took a chance, took people away, and then COVID came and forget about it. It's just like no time for anything. So just, you know, we're hoping that this becomes bigger and better, and the people that we bring on, and, you know, like I said, we're new to this, but we'll have some kinks going on, and we're trying to get Jon Rivera in here now.
Well, it's been fun. I've been writing with you since 2017. So
wow,
we're going on
4 years
believe
already.
it or not. Yeah, believe it or not, we're going on 40. Yeah. So by the spring of 2022, I think it was April, I found you around opening day in 17. So that'd be 5 years in the spring.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
So you came in like 2 years right after we started, because we started this 2015. So
yeah.
So here goes Jon. He's trying to get in now. I'm ready to get my jab on. Him and his audio issues here. Jon has a beautiful mic. I gotta get his mic so that I look more professional.
Yeah, he's gonna out podcast us.
He just can't. He has a beautiful mic. He can't figure out the audio here or the video. One of the other episodes, just kind of touch on a little bit, hopefully to bring John Ginder in here to really talk about the beginnings of Legends on Deck and why we started this. And I look at the site and like, wow, 2015, and we're just like 6 years later. It feels like a lifetime we started this thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Hey, can you hear me, Dave?
You got oh, there he is.
Yeah, I hear you. Finally.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, Jon. How are you?
Good.
Are you going to touch on something, Brian, before we get started with him?
Yeah. So I'm going to bring. I want to kind of get this going between you two. So my background or my understanding of your background together is that you guys started coaching in T-ball with your boys that are now what, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And you guys connected on the baseball field, and you've been coaching on and off since then. Is that right?
Yeah. So I'll start first, Jon, because my story is a little bit crazy in the first day. My wife decided to sign up.
He'll give you his version of his story, and then I'll give you my version.
So my wife decided to sign on my son to T-ball, and I couldn't be there. I coached my oldest son, and I'm like, okay, I'll get there later. And I think I missed the first practice or something. She says, you know, I don't know who these guys are. They don't really know what they're doing. You need to be here. And he just made your son, you know, something with a bat and don't swing it and put it back in the bucket. And I'm confused. And I don't know baseball, but I know that's not how you do it. I'm like, oh, great, here we go. So I showed up to one of the practices, and I'm amped up. Like, there's nobody, you know, I've been coaching.
Not one of the practices, the first practice.
I showed up and I said, I've been in coaches league for a long time. You know, I got to see who this guy is. I don't know what this guy's bringing non-coaches to this league. And I get there, and I look around, I don't see anything crazy going on. I'm like, okay, this is okay. And he said, hey, can you coach third base? So I go to third base, whatever. And then, I told my wife, I don't know what's going on here, but I think everything's okay. I can see they need some work, some help here and stuff. And we talked afterwards, and that was it. He pulled me in, and I had 2 teams I had to coach that season. My oldest and my little one.
Yeah, that's
so I Little League in Queens, New York, and I knew growing up that parents were an integral part of that experience. So that, and I considered that before I started